Okay, on the hollow chisel mortiser, this is the chisel, this is the bit, this is for a prong. This is a single flute, meaning it has one spiral bit that is paired with the chisel. So this is the evacuation slot, 4-point chisel, and here's the bit. Now there's other parts that go with it as well for this machine. This is a collet that's going to fit over the bit and hold it. It's going to be inserted in the machine, and then this is a piece that locks the bit shank into the top. Now there's a hole on the end of this piece. There are several of these, and this hole needs to match the appropriate bit. So if that's a quarter, this needs to be a quarter, and it fits on there tightly. You can see how it comes through the shaft. All right. When we tighten it in there, when we lock it in place, there will be an Allen bolt. This one right here will be pressing on that shaft against this metal in the back. That's what locks it in place. When we insert it as well, this piece, there'll be a bolt pressing on here which locks the whole thing in place. So let's see how this whole thing goes in, if we can. So always have a piece of soft stock underneath it to protect the tips of the blade. Now this slot is going to be parallel to the front to the fence, and this bolt right here will be pressing on this to lock it in place. So I'm going to slide the whole assembly in, sliding that into there, sort of get it in place visually, make sure this is tight, and just tighten this down, making sure I'm pressing on the flat. All right, so this bolt is going to lock on that piece. A little bit of play there. Just tightening it down to where it locks. Okay, now if you look in here, here's the bolt, and here's a flat spot right here with a little notch on it, ground. These need to line up. If they're lining up, you know that you're tightening it down in the right spot. So, with the square, we check this to make sure that it's perpendicular to the fence. So I don't have my square with me, but if this was my square, I would slide it up and adjust this until I was dead on, right? And then I would tighten this guy down. So that's nice and tight, and this is nice and tight, all right? I always have this piece underneath to protect the bit and chisel in case anything drops out. Now, give it a little spin. That sounds good. That metallic noise you hear is the bit rubbing against the chisel. And I'm going to drop it down just a hair. It sounds a little better. Okay? This machine has several controls. Alright. First off, I'm putting a piece of stock in here. We don't want the fence pressing directly on it because it will make the leg rack. So what I'm going to do is put my leg in here, put another clamp piece up to it, and tighten it down. And that locks it in place. That locks it in place. Now, this control, this big wheel, moves the fence back and forth. This control moves the fence in and out. So if I wanted to adjust my fence, I bring it down and then move it to where it needs to be. Alright? Pressing this lowers the head. They're tied together, so this lever lowers the head. Rotating this lever right here up and down moves the whole table up and down. So this is how you're setting your depth. This is how you're lowering the table up and down. So I'd be inclined to put a leg on a pencil mark on the end of that leg, and you can see what it's coming down to. It's stopping a little bit above the table. A little bit above the table. Alright, so that's how this guy works. So I have a pencil line there. So I'm going to adjust this so that it's right where it needs to be. When you're cutting, do the two outsides and then clean out the center. I'm going to roll this one around. Bring it over. And do the other side. Always doing the outsides first, and then taking out the middle. Bring it down. I'm going to adjust my fence. That's pretty good. Do the two outside extremes. Folks who just nibble it across after they establish the outside. Just cut it that way. Real clean out of the bottom.